The Declaration of Independence, pages 34 and 35 of Liberty, How the Revolutionary War Began. Independence. To most Americans, it was a beautiful word, but a frightening one. They wanted freedom, but how could they cut their ties of friendship with and loyalty to Britain, the mother country? When the Second Continental Congress gathered in Philadelphia on May 10th, 1775, many delegates still hoped to avoid war. They drafted the Olive Branch Petition, an appeal to King George from His Majesty's faithful subjects in the colonies. It was a final attempt to solve the problems between America and Britain peacefully, but the king refused even to receive the Olive Branch Petition. Instead, he announced that the colonies were in a state of rebellion and readied his forces for war. Congress also began preparing for war. Because the colonial militias weren't strong enough to meet the British Army, Congress authorized the creation of a regular army, and it appointed George Washington general and commander in chief of the forces raised and to be raised in defense of American liberty. Then, the question of independence was discussed. Samuel Adams asked, "Is not America already independent? Why not? Then declare it." Most delegates agreed with him. After a long debate, Congress appointed a committee to write a Declaration of Independence. The Declaration was actually written by Thomas Jefferson, who later became the third president of the United States. Underneath the first image on the left, we see John Hancock with his signature. John Hancock was president of the Second Continental Congress and the first delegate to sign the Declaration of Independence. He wrote his name firmly in large letters. He said, "King George will be able to read this without his spectacles." His signature became so famous that John Hancock has become another term for signature. Underneath the top right, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence in 2 weeks. He worked standing at his writing desk, which was set on a high table. And at the bottom, Americans had high hopes for the Second Continental Congress. As the delegates from Connecticut rode through New York on their way to the meeting, crowds of people came out to meet them. They unfastened the horses and pulled the carriage through the streets themselves, laughing and cheering.